Hey, what's going on, guys? Xbox All in China, host Sega Forever here. Just wanted to do a quick video, talk about something that I didn't get a chance to talk about in detail in last night's podcast, something I think is really important. Just for the simple fact that I've been rocking out with Xbox since 2013. So for me, it's something worth noting and something worth talking about. And I hope, with fingers crossed, that it's something that Microsoft will pursue as a company with a brand, which we all know is Xbox. That they want to expand and reach a lot of different people. They want to reach a lot of different markets, and they want to put the console on a level that compete with any other type of device that's being put out there by any other company, not just who people think they compete with, which is Nintendo and PlayStation. And that's something that they wanted to do back in 2013, and that's why I wanted to do this video. Because, like I said, I didn't get a chance to really dive into it last night with the guys. Though it's too bad because I would have really liked to have seen their commentary. Um, Let me shut this down. Sorry, my friend. Sorry, guys. I just gotta shut this off real quick. It'll be an interesting conversation to have with them. But shout out to E-Rock X who came on the podcast last night, and Sega Man who's rocking out with me. Dude, he stayed the whole time, and then we caught up a little bit after um, the podcast was winding down. So it's always good to talk to my brothers. He bought as well. I mean, he's been busy. It's a lot of stuff going on. When it comes to pop culture and entertainment, we're very we have a lot of different tastes in our group, at least in the group that I occupy, with Unlimited and E-Rock, He-Bot, Tuck, and all those guys, right? Other Zing, Dea, definitely. Um, and one of the things that impresses me about these guys is that they know their pop culture. Um, I think some of us know, like I'm not a big DC guy, though I've read the comics and I do enjoy their movies. I'm not gonna lie, they're entertaining to me, um, and I don't really have a problem with them. I'm a comic book guy at heart, but in our group, there's people that like a lot of different things. Like on my side of things, you guys know I'm a big Sega fan. You guys know that I love anime. I watch a lot of K dramas. Really like Netflix. Consume a lot of product that's outside of the ecosystem of Microsoft. Um, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not complaining about that. Dude. Microsoft has they've sucked me into their ecosystem, man. They have a lot of product on there. I think they could get better though, right? And that's kind of what this video is about. And hopefully, the success that they're experiencing with Fallout, and kudos to Bethesda and Todd Howard. They really deserve that the success that they're having right now. The product of Fallout, I mean, it's not a game that I'm really deep into, but I love post-apocalyptic games. So it's right up my alley as far as the games that I like to play. It's one of those games that I like to get lost in. I like the world building of it. I like the experience of it. I like to do stuff on my own. I like the exploring. I do like the crafting that they have. The stuff that they have in the game gives me the ability that's different from other people's experiences. And that's one of the things that's great about Fallout and games like Skyrim, right? Hey, what's up, Unlimited? Hey, let me know if you want to jump in, dude. I just watched your podcast. That was awesome. That PS5 podcast that you did. If you guys didn't know, man, Unlimited is starting to put more stuff out there. Oh my gosh, dude! This bird, dude. I gotta find a way to get rid of this bird. It is so irritating. Yeah, where I live, dude, we have all these illegal people bringing all these birds. They bring in like these lizards. Dude, we got like all kind of stuff running around the island that they're not supposed to bring in. And this place is getting inundated with foreign species. So sorry about that, guys. I'm in the chat only today. Got to get gaming and can't podcast much. Yeah, no worries, Unlimited, dude. You put out 2 videos, man. I appreciate it. And you did one with Sigma. So I got all caught up. Like I told you, brother, man, I don't really listen to other people. There's very few people that I listen to in the Xbox community because I just don't agree with a lot of them. And everybody's entitled to their own opinions, man. But, like I tell you guys on this channel, dude, we bleed green. And that's just the way it is. A lot of people that talk about Xbox, dude, there's a lot of times I listen to them. I don't even think they play the games. In fact, this podcast is not going to be long, right? And that's why it's very specific what I want to talk about. Just for the simple fact that I want to get my gaming in too, man. I want to get back on Warhammer. There's this K drama I'm watching called Castaway Diva, and I like the main actress of that show. So what I wanted, I was just waiting for it to finish up some of my other shows. I don't like to kind of start in between. And so I finally jumped back on that. So I watched the first episode. I was like hooked. I tried to finish up a couple other episodes, and I got caught on some of my anime stuff. Caught up with that, and I got back to it. And so that's another thing I want to do, man. I want to catch up with all my viewership because I did not finish the Fallout television show on Amazon Prime. Um, I was waiting for my daughter, and then she went ahead and watched it without me, which is fine, right? It's a great show, though. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend that you check it out. That Starfield update looks spectacular. Yeah, brother, it does. A lot of the stuff that people were, clamoring for, they're going to have that in there. And I believe they're going to do the mods. I don't know why people were losing their minds about Starfield, dude. I mean, if you play Fallout and Skyrim, you're going to know what Bethesda is going to bring to the table. I think the one thing that Starfield has is its own unique experience. And I can say that firsthand because that's why I love the game so much. Right, I like that solitude when you're in space. I like being able to go to the different planets and explore that quietness. Um, just exploring and looking around and having to feel like if we ever had space travel and it existed in that way. That's why I love it, dude. Because I love that kind of stuff. And it's something you can tell that Todd Howard wanted to do, man. This is something he probably wanted to do since he was young, and it shows, man. There's a lot of love he put into this game. But as you guys know, man, for people complaining that there's not enough to do, and I understand, it's not so much to me. It's not so much the fault of the game. It's just the way the game is and the way the game is made to be experienced. But they're gonna do that, dude. Come on, this is Bethesda, man. There's stuff in that game as far as the story, the characters that people like, right? All that stuff. It's Bethesda at its core, so they're not gonna disappoint if you're a fan, right? And this is one of the things I love the most about the Fallout show, man. It expressed to a lot of people that don't play Fallout, never play Fallout, that don't know the universe. They went ahead and watched the show, and kudos for them to put in a good show together. Great casting, um, a lot of great Easter eggs. My daughter was loving every minute of it. That's why I wanted to watch it with her because she was able to explain some stuff to me in the show that was going on, some stuff that went over my head. Because, like I said, I'm not that deep into it like she is. Um, but it was a great experience, and we enjoyed it, dude. We were enjoying every minute of it. But great writing, great acting. I like the fact that they stayed true to the core material, right? The world that they were building. They had to flesh some stuff out, but they left it consistent. So that we were talking about that last night. In fact, E-Rock went on an epic rant last night on the podcast talking about that, about DEI and how it's destroying a lot of the stuff that we love, right? Like anything else, man, it starts off with good intentions. Who doesn't want somebody to be included? Who doesn't want people to be able to experience the worlds that we experience? But I'm telling you, man, as a guy who grew up in this culture of being a geek and a nerd, mostly on the nerd side, it's not for everybody. I'm just being honest. There's a reason why you're ostracized. When I was younger, dude, it's a very niche hobby. If I'm being honest, it's gotten popular, it's gotten bigger, it's expanded, it's grown, and a lot of it in good ways. But a lot of the stuff that we're experiencing now with everything that goes on in pop culture, dude, is not what pop culture is supposed to be, right? When you're infusing your politics and your ideology, in some cases your religion, into these kind of things, right? And then it becomes a power trip kind of thing where you want to take over properties and start, putting what you want to see in there, and at the worst point, arguing with the people who are the fans and consumers of your product. It's not going to work out, and they're finding out really quickly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it, man. I got to get back in it, dude. I don't know what's going on with me, dude. I've been stuck in that Warhammer thing, probably because there's more people playing it, or at least I'm able to connect to more games. So I'm trying to level up my character. I'm trying to get like some good gear. And by gear, I mean guns. Some weapons that'll make my characters a little bit stronger, so I can roll on the higher stages now. Because I try and play those higher stages, but my character's still not at that level where I have to depend a lot on the people around me. And the Warhammer community, man, they're pretty cool about that, dude. I've never come across anybody who just like they either quit or they're upset or message you or say something in the chat, dude. They try and help you out. But I just don't want to be a burden to the crew. Like already I know how the game is, so it's best if I stay at a lower level than trying to go up to the highest levels because they just been having to carry me at some point. And so I gotta go online, man. I gotta look at if there's anything I can do to help improve my armor because I'm getting armor. I think what I might have to do, and I'm talking about Dark Tide, I might have to just go in there and then just till I can get a good piece of equipment. Because you can forge your own stuff as well, which is one of the things I like about the game. But it's no slouch, man. That game is like I was in a couple matches I played with this week, dude. We were getting smashed, and I was at an appropriate level, and it didn't matter. They were just throwing everything at us on the kitchen sink. So yeah, dude, no worries, bro. No worries, man. Like I said, thanks for coming back. We need that. I was talking to Sega Man last night. When we were wrapping up the show, you know how I'm at. You know when we wrap up, bro, my show wraps up. It's like 2 hours later. But he really wants E-Rock to come back. I think we need somebody like him. We just do, you know. And I want Hebot to start doing his show again, man. He needs to start doing his show. I know he feels a certain way about stuff that's gone on in the community, man. But we need people with voices back in here, dude. Because there's going to be a lot of people, a lot of influx of people, and not everybody's going to like what we say. But you're going to pick up people, and those guys will be the type of fans of Xbox that we want, that we need, right? And all the normies will do what they want to do. Microsoft is up trying to appeal to a lot of different people right now, and if we have that solid core base, man, then it'll be easier for us. And at the end of the day, dude, it is all about the game. So, what surprised me about my last podcast on PS5 being the worst Sony console is the lack of pushback. I think people know the PS5 is terrible, but they don't want to openly admit it. Yeah, and what you said in your podcast was not wrong at all. And I know you give props to the guy because I know you used this clip, but yeah, dude, that's stuff that you know a lot of us have been saying for the longest time, man. You included. You know, there was nothing that you said in that podcast that was not true. Right? And there, you know, if there was pushback, dude, it would be easy to debunk these dudes because they really have nothing, dude. They haven't actually had nothing for years. Right? They would just what they were doing was they would just push their AAA title so hard, right? And then they would rely on filler, right? That's why when you would argue with them back in the day about games, and you put up this whole list of games, and most of those games were all third party, right? Or they're you know the deals that they were doing to get games that were limited time but finally coming to Xbox. It was a strategy. It worked for them. It worked for Sony until AKB, and then this fiasco with the AAA titles. Right, that's going on right now. You know how everybody's switching. Yeah, and that's one thing about social media, man. These guys are late to the game. We knew about this stuff for a long time, especially me on the AAA titles. I mean, from my point of view, my perspective, dude, I just was like, dude, it's just that numbers don't add up. But it didn't matter, dude. They controlled the narrative. So, but yeah, great video, brother. I don't try to catch up on anything anymore. I just enjoy what I can. I'm too busy, and when I have free time, it's limited. Yeah, dude, you know. Again, man, it's just we have lives, right? And then what's better? Like, I'm not gonna be on long. I'm just waiting for my food, and then I'm just gonna eat, probably watch my show, and then I'm jumping on gaming. That's my day. But since I'm waiting and I have some time, dude, I decided I'll do this podcast. So I really did want to talk about Fallout 4, man. I mean, it's a great game. It always has been. Fallout 3 as well. The way I play it, though, it's weird, dude. I just like walking around. The way I play Starfield is kind of like how I play Fallout 4. That's probably why I like Starfield a lot. But Starfield is more geared to that. In fact, my daughter gets on me because I don't make a lot of progress in the story, right? It drives her nuts because she beat the game already. In fact, she beats a lot of games way before I do. But it's in the way that I play these games. This is why I can play Warhammer. Like I'll have hours in on my Xbox, but a lot of it's like just playing countless hours of Warhammer. And I'm talking about Darktide or Vermintide when I play Vermintide, or like Left 4 Dead or COD. Right? I need to discipline myself and get back on the single player stuff that I have because we have a lot of great games that I need to play. But then I just bought the newest Yakuza, so I don't want to dive into that. But that's another game, dude. That's kind of time consuming because I do like the characters and the quirkiness of that franchise. So that'll probably suck up my time as well. Starfield is the space adventure game I always wanted. I love Star Trek, Mass Effect, Outer Worlds. Starfield gives me all of that in one game. Yeah, dude. And that's what I mean. It's like I love the look of it that they went with that. What did he call that? Punk NASA look. Like it's not something that when you look at it, it's not so science fictiony that it's outside of the realm of possibility, right? A lot of it is like they said, analog. right? Which I just love the look of it, dude. So when you're in there, like you feel like this is something that could happen, right? And so it sets my mind in a certain type of way that when I actually play the game and I have the experience, it's the experience that I feel I would have if this was real, right? So I 100% dude, 100%, and that's why, dude. I mean, a lot of the game, dude. I was advancing the story because in a sense they need to, you need to in some aspects of it, and but just landing on a planet, dude, and just exploring is great, dude. I could see them like increasing that, but at the same time, you don't want to do it too much. For so one of the complaints I know is people was talking about how everything seemed barren and just way open. There's not much to do. I'm like, yeah, dude, you're in space. This isn't like we're in this science fiction fantasy. You know, I forgot which one it was, but there's like 1,000 planets, right? A place of 1,000 planets, dude. Where every planet you're going to go to, it's filled to the rim of people. You know, that's not what Starfield is supposed to be. You know, and that's one of the great things about it, right? Because when you go to some of these outer rim planets, dude, you feel like you're like when you go to that one planet, I can't remember the name, but you feel like you're you feel like you're in a western, right? Because it's a dusty place, dude. You're at an outpost, right? And it makes a connection to a lot of different genres um, and pop culture that I love as well. You know, so it is what it is, but I love it, and I can't wait for the like you said, I can't wait for the update. Hey, what's up, realist dude? Too many games, too little time. Yeah, brother, I'm feeling the pain, man. There was a bunch of games on sale that I just forgot to pick them up, just because I've been too busy. And I'm not gonna lie, dude. I've been trying to discipline myself to catch up with a lot of other stuff that I have, enjoying other things. Because what I tend to do is like I went back and watched My Hero Academia. I watched because they put it on Netflix, and I just watched like the first episode, and that was it. I was hooked again. I remember how great the thing was. I went through all the seasons, right, and I switched back to Crunchyroll, but I own all the seasons on Xbox as well. Um, but I went back to Crunchyroll, then I started watching season 5, so I'm going through that because the new season is out, right? And so that's what I'm doing right now, dude. I'm like, I'm going to diversify my portfolio. I'm going to start enjoying pop culture, not focusing on a lot of different things that I enjoy. NASA Punk, yeah, thanks, realist. That's what I couldn't remember what I know it's something like that. But yeah, that's a great term. That's a great term, dude, to use. Um, yeah, but just getting back to Fallout really quickly. Um, the show, like I said, I watched it, loved it, loving it love watching it with my daughter, dude, and a great casting, by the way. And the thing it didn't really surprise me, but it was more of a pleasant surprise. But not something that I didn't think was out of the realm of possibility. But I'm pretty sure you guys seen the numbers. People watched the show and then they delved back into the game, specifically Fallout 4, and I believe um, Fallout 76. And I played both games. Fallout 76 is more of an online thing, and so I have a friend I work with, and he's not a huge fan of online gaming, so he doesn't like that type of stuff with Fallout 76. But of course, there's people in the community that like that kind of thing. And I feel sorry for Fallout 76 because I played it myself and I didn't find anything wrong with it. Like if you don't like online type of experiences, I understand that. But from the jump, dude, the community was really nice. People were there to help you. The world is pretty open, right? I loved exploring it. The little that I did play of it, and so I thought, yeah, I didn't understand why I was. I mean, I understand why I was getting the hate. There's a lot of politicking in gaming right now, or it's been that way for years, dude. But basically, once Microsoft owned Bethesda, this is why you see most of the hate, right? Because people hate Microsoft and they're taking it out on Bethesda. I'm not saying Bethesda doesn't have their detractors as well, but that's small. That's minute in the realm of how people hate Microsoft, especially Xbox, that brand. Okay, so that's something that they just got to deal with. The offsetting thing, though, is of course Bethesda is a company. They're self-made. So one of the cool things about it is they have their own fan base. I talk about this all the time, right? And that pretty much bullet gets them to be bulletproof. I mean, their fan base will hold them more accountable than and it will make more sense, right? And they'll listen to the fan base. You can always tell who a hater is. That's not a problem, right? Like I see that in my daughter, dude. She plays the game. She loves the game, but she'll critique them. She's just into it. She's like I am with Marvel, dude. You guys listen to my rants on Marvel. I've given up on the comics, and I was watching the movies. And look, I'll let you guys know, dude. I have no problems really with phases 1 through 3. I'm just saying that because I've read the comics since I was little, right? And I know a lot of the heroes and I know a lot of their backstory, dude. I've read so many comic books when it comes to Marvel, dude. That was my main company that I supported, and that I loved the characters and everything like that. So of course I'm one of those, I'll just be honest, kind of elitist when it comes to the stuff that they have. But at the same time, the way that I enjoy the movies, even though they take liberties with a lot of the stuff there, and some of the stuff that they do, um, I just switch gears, man, and put on my movie watcher hat. Plus, I have my kids, dude. My kids enjoyed it, dude, because they don't have the hangups that I have when it comes to pop culture, right? And I'm never going to put that on them. So phases 1 through 3, I like them. I mean, I had no problem with it. Favorite movie definitely was I was a more and more as time goes by. Is definitely Winter Soldier, not Winter Soldier. Captain America: First Avenger. Winter Soldier is awesome. I've never had a problem with any of the Marvel movies except for Captain Marvel. I absolutely hated Captain Marvel because I could tell the direction that they were going, and even in the last Avengers movie, you could see them. The stuff that you're experiencing now with Marvel and why they're failing, it's all that's all that was the beginning. That was the crucial one. That's when I knew things were going to change. And then in hindsight, it is what it is, dude. They had their run. I don't even think they can pull it back. But on the flip side of that, dude, you have a property like Fallout that has been around for a long time. You had a person in Todd Howard. You can tell that he was really hands on with the product. They should, and I'm just not talking. You saw the pictures of him being on set. You can tell he had his hand in that kind of stuff, dude. And that's great thing because you want to experience firsthand that creativity that he brings about when he creates this kind of stuff. I'm pretty sure a lot of the stuff that they did uh, in the actual TV show that expanded on the stuff from the game, he definitely had a hand in all of that. You know, and again, like I said, my daughter's a huge fan, so there was nothing. She complained about little things like they were doing, like the way I complain about Marvel when they do certain things in their movies that's not true to the comic book, but not in a bad way, right? And I appreciated this. She pointed that kind of stuff out to me. I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know that, or I forgot about this. Because I thought like one of the characters was with this one organization. She was on that. That's this other one. And the reason she knows that is because she was playing something in '76 that I never got far. So it was good. I mean, it was a good experience to have. Um, it was great to see, right? Because this is the kind of stuff that Microsoft's gonna need to do, specifically Xbox and the brand, to overcome a lot of the stigma that surrounds the console. Man, you guys see it every day. Unlike Unlimited, I'm still plugged in to all the stuff that's going on X, and it's just a constant stream of hate on Xbox, on YouTube as well, and on social media, of course. And it's like full speed ahead right now, right? And especially now that you have a lot of the Xbox guys, and I'm not talking on the extreme of Tim Dog. Tim Dog lost his mind, but you have a lot of the Xbox guys right now. They're just not participating in the console war at that level, which is probably the best thing, dude. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you, dude. Microsoft basically killed the console war by taking those games over there, man, because you can't really say anything anymore, right? It's pretty much over, and then a lot of people feel betrayed, and they're either they jump ship and they did it publicly like Tim Dog's doing, or they're just not participating at all. And I see it, dude. As some people think, nah, I don't think so, my bro. It's there's guys I follow, dude, that don't they haven't posted anything in a long time. I still post stuff, right? Um, I think Xbox still, like I tell you guys all the time, 90%, dude, is still awesome. That 10% is all these little things that they don't do, whether it's putting games on other consoles, whether it's not confirming certain things that they should, thinking about their consumers as well as their fans. If you're not going to think about the fans in that type of way, at least think about the consumers. There's a lot of things communication wise they should be doing. But as far as the games, dude, that's why I'll get off of this, go eat my lunch, go watch my show, catch up with the fun, trying to wrap up that season of Castaway Diva, right? Then I'll just go upstairs and I'll play Warhammer for a couple hours, right? That's all I have to do, dude. I mean, like I said in the podcast last night, if somebody comes at me with the games, like, oh, we're gonna get this game on there, this game on our console, I can't say no. I don't know, right? They might do that. I don't think they should. I don't think they will. But at the end of the day, if you argue with somebody, they're like, well, we got these 4 games, and yeah, you know what, you're right. So it is what it is, man. Just focus on the games, focus on the ecosystem, follow Phil, like I always say. see where it's going, right, and just adjust accordingly, right. But as far as the Fallout thing, dude, that is a much needed boost for them. Um, it's something I hope they take note of, right, and something that I hope they realize. Like I talk about this all the time, and I'm gonna bring it up again because I think it's relevant to the topic that I'm talking about when it comes to the TV show. Man. This was the kind of the idea that Microsoft had in the beginning with the Xbox One in 2013, right? It's all in one system, and so that they had a studio that was going to do stuff. They had all these things that they were going to do, and a lot of people was heavy on the TV and that kind of stuff. I wish they still would have went through with it because they could have course corrected from TV to streaming. Microsoft, because of all the hate that they got, and they course corrected and they focused like on the games and stuff like that, which is fine, dude, because that was a great experience as well. But they kind of fell behind on some other stuff, right? And that's the thing about being in this industry. You gotta be fluid, man. And Xbox is pretty fluid. I'll give them that. I mean, a lot of the stuff that they do, dude. I mean, they're ahead of the time. Um, but hopefully they realize that the plans they had in 2013 it wasn't bad, dude. It really wasn't. Now they don't have to go totally back to that playbook, but it's something I think they should revisit. Um, and the Fallout and the success of the Fallout 4 television show on Prime is a perfect example of that. I'm not saying they have to create a studio again to focus on their stuff, though I think they need to do what they did and let Todd Howard, or at least Todd Howard, do it, Bethesda, have a real hands-on on the product that they have. I think they kind of let that with Halo. They had the thing on Halo too as well. You can actually see the footprint of the crew that they sent over there to work on the show. Um, Even though I think Halo kind of fell into some of that Hollywood stuff um, that I don't particularly care for. But it is what it is, dude. It's a business, and the shows. I enjoyed the first season. Still haven't watched the second season because I have to resub for Paramount. I better hurry up and do that before Sony buys their. Sony goes ahead and buys Paramount, which blows my mind, dude. And there's a partnership going on with that as well, and I'm like, yeah, there has to be something like that. I guess that's a little bit more in their wheelhouse, though. I am a bit concerned, right? Because Halo's on there. And so you guys saw what happened with Helldivers this past week. I normally don't talk about Sony news, but I think it's relevant. Just because of the simple fact that they own Crunchyroll as well, right? And my whole thing is like, what they did with Helldivers too. So if you have it on Steam, they want you to create a PlayStation account and log into the place to connect the PlayStation account to your Steam account or some crap like that. Some kind of authoritarian crap that they want to do. And that's not surprising to me, but that's Sony 101, dude. They've always done stuff like that. They're the king of proprietary, dude. I say that all the time. They've always been that way, dude. They want to get paid. They want their money at the end of the day, right? And so, I think they're going to kill the golden goose, right? Because it's the actual PC market, that's bigger, that's playing the game and stuff like that. That's where the rumors coming around that Helldivers 2 is going to come to Xbox. Which, if it does, fine. I know there are people that want to play it. I don't care either way, dude. I'm not hurting for shooters, dude. We have a lot. Like I said, I'm playing Warhammer. I'm deep in Warhammer right now. We have Halo, definitely COD. There's a lot of other stuff I could play. So I'm not hurting, dude. But if the guys that want it, whatever, And then it shows them reciprocating for what the Microsoft did. But the one thing that Xbox needs to pick up on is the melding of the culture, right? And or just the culture in general, dude. I've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now, man. It's the culture that they're not understanding. Especially if you have corporate involved, I'm not a big thing against corporate guys. I just not, right? When it comes to money and stuff like that, I don't care because they don't force me to buy stuff. And if they try and do anything like that, I just walk away. Like I don't have a PlayStation because of crap like that. Having to connect your account, even though you're not associated with the console. I've never had a problem with that because I'll just walk away. I did that with Star Wars, man. Do you guys know that it's May the 4th? Dude, on my timeline, it's dead, dude. A lot of people that I follow, dude, they don't follow. I mean, a couple people I still do, but nobody's talking about it. At least in the circles I'm in. That was a big thing. May the 4th was a big thing, but their product is absolute trash, right? There's nothing for the fans like me. So why am I going to participate in it? So that's what I'm talking about, dude. It's easy for me to walk away from anything anymore, dude, because time Realist said, man, too many games and too little time. Well, and that's life in general. right? Time is precious to me. Time is a more precious commodity to me than anything else, right? And the one thing these guys need to realize is that they're not the only game in town, man. This is what's killing them right now. A lot of people got on this high horse. Like I use Disney as an example. They had a gold mine with Marvel. They were killing it, dude, and they just killed that golden goose. And a lot of it had to be like, they got high minded, man. They thought, okay, we have this brand, it's untouchable, and they found out real quick, dude. Because this stuff is always in flux. Any of you guys that are in pop culture understand, dude. That something can be hot 1 minute, and then boom, something else comes along and just wipes it out. Yeah. I'm seeing that right now in K-pop. My kids are falling off of K-pop. Um, they're getting into other things, probably because they're getting older, but they still appreciate the music. I let them listen to the music because it's harmless. Like I say all the time, it reminds me of the music I grew up with, which is more about the entertainment. It was more about the people wanted to be successful, wanted to entertain, wanted to be the best that they are. And I saw this story that they were talking about. There's a group that came out called New Jeans, and then they were like the new hot thing, and they're a good group, dude. Like if you like the '90s stuff from back in the days, I don't know if you guys know Black from back in the days did that type of pop groups when they were hot and they were hitting. You know what I mean, like SWV and stuff like that. All those old pop groups and stuff like that. So these guys for this era, right? This is them, and these guys hit pretty hard. And then now there's this other group that came out, and now I think they're called Illicit or something like that. Their big song is Magnetic, and then everybody's like all warring right now because they're talking about they sound like it's in the fan bases, but it's in the people that actually do a lot of the social media content as well. So what is my point? So right, it's amazing to me because K-pop is a perfect. I keep up with the industry mostly now. Still like the music, dude. I still like some of the older stuff as well. I'm kind of too old for the new stuff, right? But the one thing I like about it is it shows at its core what the music industry is supposed to be, or any industry is supposed to be, man. The competitiveness, um, the fandoms, and stuff like that. Uh, so it's interesting to me, dude, that a lot of these companies, at least overseas, understand the importance of catering to your audience, catering and taking care of your brand. I'm not saying they're successful all the time. They actually sometimes they overtax it, they overdo it on that kind of stuff. But still, that's just part of the way the industry is. Unlike what we're doing over here, right? Where a lot of these people who are making this content are actually arguing with their fans. A lot of these people are like, no, this is the stuff we're gonna put out. If you don't like it, then bounce. You know what I mean? They're like that, dude, because it's not about entertaining anymore. It's about seeing themselves in the product, seeing themselves in the story, seeing themselves in the world, occupying the world that they want it to be, that nobody else cares about, taking over a lot of these properties that people grew up on, right? And because they're not talented enough to create their own characters or their own world. Because to be honest with you, if I'm being honest, dude, if these guys try to create the characters in the world that they want to see, right, it won't be successful. The old idiom of like, you don't write for yourself, you're writing for other people. That's writing 101 right there. Right. And a lot of these people aren't built for that, dude. They're very narcissistic, very selfish. They get into this kind of stuff because it's kind of their safe space. Because, the way pop culture is now and the way nerd culture and geek culture is, it's nowhere near as bad as when I was growing up. I talk about it all the time on this channel, right? This is the kind of stuff that, when it wasn't cool, man. It just wasn't cool. It wasn't a good thing to be back in the day. So, fast forward to now, they have an opportunity to make stuff in a more safer environment. I think that can be kind of bad right now, right? Because a lot of these guys don't get pushback. They're not challenged, right? They don't challenge themselves, right? And then you get this mediocre, mundane, crappy product that they put out. And then on top of that, dude, when you see it and you don't like it, or you comment, and I know some people can go overboard, but still, you gotta be tough, dude. You gotta be able to take it. Because at the end of the day, right, you want to improve, or that's what I think you would want to do. Right. And so it's one thing if somebody's going overboard, just ignore them, but listen to the people that actually know the industry, or they know the product, or they even know the world and the universes that you're trying to access and trying to be a part of. But it's none of that, dude. They just automatically go to the assault, dude. And that's how sensitive people are, man. It's sad because that's gonna hurt society in the long run, especially in the West. That's going to be the downfall. One of the downfalls of the West, man, is that people just can't take criticism because they're like I said, people go overboard, or people are just haters, and people just say stuff to you, right, just to piss you off, or just to get under your skin, or just to be a prick. I understand all of that, but that's not the point. The point is about you focusing on you in the sense of improving yourself and getting better. So for that kind of stuff, dude, you just either ignore it or you have to just take it. Because what happens is you just leave yourself open and somebody will come along or you get, you know what I mean? It's just like anybody who goes to any type of job, right? So that's that, and that's ultimately the point I'm trying to make right now, right? It's just that with Microsoft and the success that they're having, dude, they need to build on that, right? Because if they don't, dude, there's going to be somebody else that's going to come along and just fill that void. I talk about that all the time. I talk about that in a political sense, especially with foreign policy, right? There's a lot of people that are talking about, not getting involved in certain things. Dude, when you're the United States, you cannot not get involved. Now, that doesn't mean you should be in every little thing, or that doesn't mean you should be sticking your nose in everybody's business or trying to force things on other people, like our government's trying to do now in countries like South Africa, right? Where they don't like the way that people are treated of a particular leaning, right? And then they're trying to basically put pressure on these countries. And it's not just the left that did that; the right did that as well. So that's the kind of things I'll talk about on that level. We should kind of mind our own. But trying to be an isolationist country, that's not going to work out, especially with the way our dynamic is. Dude, somebody's got to be the leader of the free world, and I'd rather it be the U.S. than any other country. Dude, I trust us more at this point in time. Things are getting kind of bad, right? But like I say, I was in powerless a vacuum, right? So whatever gets evacuated, something else will come in there, right? And that's what you're going to see a lot of times, um, or that's what we experience a lot of time on the Xbox side when Microsoft doesn't move that way. So that to me is one of the great things that Microsoft did acknowledge them. We're working through some stuff right there, right now. But the kind of cool thing about it is they got the backing of Microsoft, they got the money, they got the stuff, and so they're able to kind of cover a lot of different areas. The only problem I see right now is what I said in the podcast with them and everything. I said, the only problem Microsoft has with that is that they're becoming like a jack of all trades and a master of none. So they are doing a lot of stuff that they need to be doing. They're putting their footprints, everything like that. But they also need to get that focus and that balance. And I think once they do that, they're going to be unstoppable. I mean, they're kind of unstoppable right now because just the amount of money they have. If anything that puts Xbox, I see you guys all the time. The only people that can end Xbox is Microsoft. Zobi70. Hey, what's up, Zobi? Wait, what happened with Tin Dog? Why is the Xbox community fighting with him? Oh, we've been fighting with Tin Dog for a long time, dude. I still follow him, Zobi. I mean, he's one of the OGs. But he's just, yeah, dude, I don't know, dude. He's in his feelings, if I'm being honest. He doesn't like the direction that Microsoft was going in with the 4 games. There's a lot of us that don't agree with that. But he went all, dude. I mean, he went crap gamer to the point now he's like, he's putting out his PSN account. He got a PlayStation 5, he got a PSN account. He's saying how great the games are. He loves the community. Like all those dudes who flip flop or who turncoat and went to the other side. Yeah, so that's what's going on X. I'm pretty sure you see it, dude. It's crazy. That's what happens, dude. My grandmother told me when I was growing up, dude, mind the company that you keep. And that's one of the problems with guys like Tim and Z and Crap and all those dudes, man. They not only had less than credible Xbox guys on their rosters, but they also had a lot of ponies that they messed with. So when you do that, man, it's like mindedness, man. That's just the reality of it. Yeah, dude. Wow. Yeah, wow is an understatement. I mean, because he rocked out of all the people, dude. He was the last of the Mohicans, man. I was surprised myself, dude, when he did that. I can understand being upset. I can understand being a little bit hurt, dude. He does have connections with these people, but at some point in time, dude, you got to realize that they're going in a different direction, dude. You're not part of that whatever relationship you have with these guys, and you got to get over it, dude. And then to me, I don't understand, dude. If I don't like, I'm a huge Steeler fan, dude. If I'm a Steeler fan and I don't like what the Steelers do, whatever goes on in the NFL and whatever they might promoting, and there's things that the Steelers do that I don't agree with outside of football, right? but I'm still a fan, right? But if I was not to be a fan, right? As I say, I just said I'm done with the Steelers. I throw away all my stuff, or I burn all my stuff, or I sell all my stuff. I get rid of all my stuff, and I'm not going to wear any black and gold anymore. I'm not going to support the team, right? You know, if I ever did that, I'll guarantee you this. The following week after I do all this stuff and I have all this drama, the following week you will not see me promoting the Cleveland Browns. And that's what a lot of these guys do, which blows my mind because I'm like, dude, why would you? Why now? You know what I mean? It makes no sense to me. Why is everybody jumping ship? Because people are upset that Microsoft sent 4 games over to PlayStation. That's the. Hey, you know me, Zobi. I'll tell you the truth. That's what it is. And people are not just upset and voicing their stuff or acting like Tim Dog. Right? That's ridiculous. But I can tell you, man, they definitely killed the momentum with Xbox these last couple months, man. And then people are not participating like they used to in social media. They might be not acting like Tim Dog. They might not be posting stuff, but sometimes it's not in what you're posting; it's what you're not posting. Yeah, I know you're politically charged like me. It's the same thing. Like when stuff happens politically, right? When you see these shifts um, in what's going on in the political culture, right? It's the same thing. It's the same thing that's going on right now on the Xbox side. I know people tell me I'm reading into it. I'm like, nah, dude, this is the very same thing I see because I keep up with politics, dude. I keep up with pop culture outside of just video games, right? This is why I'm so bent on talking about the economy. That's the main thing because I don't want Microsoft to overcorrect with this stuff, dude. I don't want them to overthink it, dude. I don't care what type of games you put out there. You could put out Senua Sacrifice, Hellblade 2. You could drop Hellblade. They could have the showcase and they're gonna drop Hellblade 2, a new Gears, an update for Halo, the update for Starfield, some other games that they've been working on, a bunch of third-party games, announced Final Fantasy is coming, and do it all in that one day. And it's going to be huge, but will that move the needle, man? Because at the end of the day, it'll make a splash, man. But at the end of the day, dude, people just don't have money. People broke, dude. People is broke. People are broke. Is the problem. That's the main problem. Right? And people are having to decide, and which is kind of cool because you're going to see people who really are gamers and who aren't gamers. And I'm not saying this in a bad way. I'm just being honest, right? It's just, and there's people that are debating whether they're going to pay their rent or buy food because the cost of living is so high. That's the reality. And then the people with money are deciding, okay, well, should I, you just can't go get a game, get a new phone, do all this kind of stuff. You got to pick and choose now, right? Because you don't know, dude. Property taxes could jump up, dude. I had a plumbing issue, dude. Got water damage. I got to deal with that, and that's in the thousands of dollars. So, that's the environment, dude. You're not in an economy where you can eat this kind of stuff, dude. You gotta have to cut stuff. And then the sad thing and this is where the dangerous part is that nobody talks about, dude. And I talk about, except for me on this channel, or at least I don't hear anybody else talk about this. But I'll say it because I don't care, right? Is that people are being conditioned to spend money in a certain way or participate in society in a certain way. It's the whole new world order thing, and I don't want to go on that rabbit hole. But but what I've been focusing on is funny, dude, because I've been focusing on all the stuff with aliens and demons and giants. And this is all on the biblical side, giants and all this stuff, dude. It's angels. It's been really cool, dude. It's been really cool because it's stuff that I knew about but not really focused on a lot, and it's been interesting to focus on. Right. So that's where all my time is getting pulled right now, bro. Just in different directions. And again, this is something that I think Microsoft don't overthink all the stuff that's going on right now. It's not about you, man. It's not about you making the perfect game. It's not about you getting every third party person to be in your ecosystem. Yeah, you need that stuff, but you need it just for content, dude, because it's a machine. You gotta feed it, right? But don't get carried away with this kind of stuff. Like we've been telling them, me, E-Rock, Hebot, Sigman, Tuck, all of us been telling them for the longest time, dude, the AAA games, dude, it's not adding up. You know, the AAA games, like we got to make AAA games, we got to do this. You hear the people, we need AAA games, we need AAA games. They put them out, nobody buys it, nobody plays it, or they'll get it and they're like, oh, this is not what I wanted. You know, man, dude, if it wasn't for Microsoft being absolutely ridiculously rich, dude, they would have been in trouble, right? Because they've been getting slammed, they've been getting the short end of the stick since 2013, right? And whether that's fair or not, that's not even the point, right? But it's luckily they're a billion or trillion-dollar company that they're able to weather all this kind of stuff, and I think they're smart enough to understand this, right? That they understand that people, regardless of what you do, people will appreciate it. You have your fans, which you should take care of. There's all this stuff going on though, and it doesn't matter what you do, man. It's just people are not gonna buy your game. So what can you do to make your stuff to make yourself relevant, to keep yourself relevant, right? That's why they get a lot of hate in the media and the mainstream media as well, because they're a big corporation that they laid off 2,000 people, not even knowing the particulars of it, right? They just laid off 2,000 people. Meanwhile, industries across the world are laying off hundreds of thousands of people. So, you know, but it's because it's Microsoft, it's their brand, right? So, and that's the point of this video, dude. They got to win with Fallout, the TV show, and that's translated into real world, intangible things with the actual gaming, which the actual Fallout games. And it just confirmed to me that the Fallout games are awesome if you like those kind of games, which most people do. If you look at the type of games that are being played, the type of games that people are spending their money on, dude, Fallout is perfect for a lot of people. You know, and it adds another quiver in the arrow, the quiver in the weapons of Microsoft in this console war. The console war is what it is. I'm not going to kick that off, but it's what I'm trying to say is that it gives them a little bit of firepower that they need, especially moving forward. Dude, I hope it opens their eyes and they start looking back at the things that they did in 2013, because a lot of it that failed was done out of pure hate. You had a rabid PlayStation fan base that was coming off the ass whooping that they got from the Xbox 360. And the way that the 360 dominated and how it controlled the narrative, all the stuff that PS4, they wanted it back on the PS4 side. Probably one of the biggest mistakes Microsoft did was lose the COD rights. That was probably the biggest. That's the one thing I'll say about 2013. But everything else, dude, was butter. And so I hope they revisit that, dude. They have something here. Hopefully that opened their eyes to Fallout TV show and its success, and how it translated to the actual games, where one day I believe they had 5 million people playing on that one day. I think it was Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. And then the whole New Vegas thing is coming into play, which is kind of funny. It's hilarious to me, man, because that community is hardcore. So there's a lot of stuff going on, right, with that. But I did a video not too long ago, dude, talking about Xbox or Microsoft actually buying Netflix. There are rumors of that. And I did a video on it, dude. I know it was tongue in cheek in a sense, but something that I think that they should look at. They really should. I mean, I look at some of the stuff Microsoft does, and I'm like, dude, you guys could end all of your troubles. Just go the nuclear option, wipe everything out, and just build from the ground up, and build it in the world that you want, dude. Microsoft is like a really woke company, dude. And so. I was like, hey, even that, dude. There you go, dude. Just take everybody out and then you build it in the image that you want. As long as you give me my games, I'll be okay. As long as you don't go overboard with it, then I'm fine. Right? You guys are woke in the corporate way, woke. And I'm not saying they don't believe in that kind of stuff, but at least you don't try to stuff it down my throat. Even though you do some things that are questionable, in my opinion. But it is what it is. They're not stupid, at least like Disney is. And done like all these other companies that are like, no, this is what the people want, and they hired all these morons. That's the one thing I like about Microsoft. They try and be diverse, but at the end of the day, dude, when you look at some of their teams, we know who they hired, dude. It's just the reality of it. Like, they would want it, and I know they want that utopia where everybody is like, you have a set amount of white people and a set amount of black people and a set amount of brown people, right? A set amount of overseas people. Right, you want those stories, right, that you can talk about, but that's not the reality of it, dude. And it's never going to be. I hate to burst their bubble. It's never going to do it because people, at the end of the day, man, people make choices, right? That's one of the things I learned, man. It's like, you know, a job that pays a lot of money, like pharmacy, but it's a lot of hard work. There's a lot of schooling. It's continuing education, right? And you know, at the end of the day, yeah, it pays a lot of money, but number one, you might not be able to do it, right? Because there's a lot of things that you have to do as a pharmacist that involves science, math, and chemistry, right? And on top of that, dude, it's tense, right? You can't take a break, man. You can't have a time off. And I'm not saying that they're constantly busy, but your focus has to be into all the time because all it takes is one mess up and you lose your license, your whole career is over. And you spent like 6 to 8 years trying to secure yourself. No, that's not going to work out, dude. So all this stuff that's utopia that they're trying to build, dude, it's not real, dude. Because people are not gonna want to do what it takes to be like the whole STEM thing, dude. My daughter's a perfect example. We were trying to get scholarships and stuff like that, and the only thing they were like talk to us about is STEM. Don't you want to be an engineer? Don't you want to be a computer programmer? Don't you want to be an astronaut? Don't you want to create the next best big thing? And my daughter's like, no, I like art. I like to draw. You know, I want to digital. Yeah, she has to work on that, right? But she don't want to be down there pounding code out. You know what I mean? But most people don't, dude. That's not a fun thing to do, right? It's just like if that was the case, man, then everybody would like math. Right? People would be clamoring for math classes and stuff like that. But as we all see, that's not the reality, dude. And this is what irks me about a lot of these people, dude. They refuse to see the reality, the realism of it. Right. And then when you tell them that, they're like, oh, wow, you don't think like brown people, which I'm brown. So, and the people that usually tell me that are like it's like a white person. Oh, you don't think brown people can do that? I was like, number one, I'm brown. But number two, dude, that's not culturally is not like these guys are big on culture, dude. I'm telling you, man, for my culture, that's not how it is. You know, it's about the land, it's about family. We do some stuff that's pretty impressive, but that's basically, you know, like, as Polynesians, man, you hear about how they navigated and stuff like that. The oceans, the open oceans, and double hull canoes and stuff like that. That's pretty impressive. Right? I'm not gonna take, you know, that's to me. I'm like, dude, I can't, you know, that'd be because you just going out, you know, and everything's like, but it's oral, man, and everything's passed on generations of a lot of hands-on stuff. So a lot of careers I see a lot of people in my culture in, it's usually stuff that's hands-on. I'm not saying they can't be doctors or anything like that, but you know, that's something that you're going to have to change within yourself as well, man, because that's not something that you're inclined to do for a lot of these things that they want people to be. This is why you see certain races dominating certain fields, especially in the fields of science and math, fields of study, right? That's just the reality of it. So anyway, sorry, I saw Zobi's name and I'm going off on a tangent, but for the most part, man, Microsoft, dude, I just hope I don't know, man. I just hope that, you know, they've been balanced on this kind of stuff, and it's kept their products pretty. It's allowed them to be fluid, right? And hopefully they'll go back, especially with their brand, dude. The Xbox brand, it's still a brand, dude. They need to tune into the culture. They need to have at least that one person. And I know they got Phil. I know they got Sarah. I know they got Matt Booty. They got a good crew of people at Xbox. Dude. I have no hate for anybody there. Dude. I'm not one of these guys who's like, Phil Spencer needs to go. He needs to be fired. Dude, you can't fire Phil Spencer. He built all this stuff, dude. Again, 90-10, the 90-10 split, right? Dude, you wouldn't have any of this stuff if it wasn't for him, dude. And kudos to him, dude. And sometimes you make decisions not everybody's going to like, dude. Maybe the decision they made with this was something that he didn't like. Or maybe there's stuff that we're not seeing that we're going to see later on down the road. To the point, like, you know, when they start putting out their new console that can do a lot of different things. You know, a little bit of cross-pollination with other companies. You know, they're supposed to have a handheld. You know, I'm willing to, like, hold on and see what's going on. It's not like I can go anywhere, guys. Everything I own is Xbox. They have me. They have me lock, stock, barrel, man. Because I'm in the ecosystem. This is why I talk about the ecosystem so much. And I don't really have a problem with the ecosystem. Dude, there's like 10 games I could play right now, just off of Game Pass alone. Some games I just bought because they were dropping off, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna add that to my collection. I have a back library that I can play. So I'm not hurting for anything. But Zobe, I hope that answers your question on Tim Dog. Yeah, he just lost his mind. I mean, I love the dude, man. He's been one of the I think he's a good guy, down to earth, good guy. But we're just gonna disagree on the whole Xbox PlayStation thing. I could never. And like I said last night in the podcast, you can do this right here. You can bookmark this part, dude. I'm never gonna own a PlayStation ever. Even if Microsoft, if Xbox dies and it went away, I just stop gaming. It's like when I had health problems, man, and I couldn't eat ice cream. People was like, "Oh, just eat diet ice cream." I just stopped eating ice cream. They're like, "Oh, you don't, you know, you can still enjoy ice cream. You can enjoy this ice cream." But I was like, "Dude, that's not ice cream. Either I'm gonna get the stuff that I want, the real deal, the stuff that's not good for me, and if I can't get that, dude, I'm not gonna get some kind of secondhand thing. That's not how it works, man. That's how I am with my gaming as well. But we'll see how everything turns out, dude. And again, dude, this is a wake up call from Microsoft, the opportunity as well that they go back and revisit 2013 because I was there day one, right? They had a lot of great games, they had a great lineup. Killer Instinct, Rise on the Rome, one of my favorite games. Titanfall hit the other week. They had Sunset Overdrive. Um, they had a lot of games that was supposed to appeal to a lot of different people outside of Xbox. If I'm being honest, because they didn't even launch with Halo, right? And Halo is the big Xbox game. So or Gears. I don't think they only had but the games that they had were made. If you go back and look at it, it was made for people outside of Xbox to enjoy, right? Because it was going to be the all-in-one box, so you need a wide range of consumers to come in because they were going to do TV, they were going to do movies, produce things outside of it. They had a music service, right? Where you see Amazon right now, that's where Microsoft should be, but do it better than Amazon because Amazon's streaming services suck. Yeah, I'm just being honest. I don't like Amazon's streaming. I don't like their music. I use them, but because I have Prime. But if it's easy for me to just go to something else. It's not something that I enjoy utilizing. Um, but this is an opportunity for Microsoft to look at what's going on, right? And especially with their ecosystem, and say, here, this is what we can do now. We had success on this. Look at what was successful, what wasn't, and then trying to build off of that. The Halo that's there now is not the Halo that I would like to see, if I'm being honest. Nothing wrong with the show. It's a good show. I've enjoyed the first season, right? But some of the stuff that I think they kind of weighed down as far as the story, dude, I just don't. I didn't really care for it. Like, I didn't think it was bad. I just would wanted them. I would have wanted on a more epic scale, a more epic, a space epic type of bigger sets. Kind of like when you watch a show like Rebel Moon. At least the first, I didn't watch the second one, but at least the first one. You know how Zack Snyder has this knack of kind of doing these big sequences and stuff like that. I would have loved to have seen that in the Halo show. Not verbatim, like not copy that, but that type of style. I think it's worthy of Master Chief. He's such an enigma as a character. And that's the thing I needed to be introduced. What I ended up doing to enjoy Halo is just take off my kind of my Halo hat of my expectations, put that, check that, put that in check, and then just enjoy it as a person watching a science fiction because I'm a huge science fiction fan. And then that's my boy, dude. I mean, the whole thing with the helmet and stuff like that, I didn't like. I didn't think that was. I didn't agree with that in the beginning, but I just checked myself, and then I was like, yeah, but I love the actor, dude. That's one of my favorite actors, dude. That dude should be bigger than what he is. Um, That dude has for a guy who plays certain roles, he does have range, and that's probably why he was casted in that because they wanted to give Master Chief some humanity, stuff like that. And the other casting is pretty good too. They need to get away from these space. They need to get rid of this in all type of science fiction. I'm going to be honest, dude. They need to get away from this like this diversity in these space dramas that they're making because that's not going to be reality. If that's one thing that zaps me out of that is that I see that. Right? Star Trek did it right. I give kudos to Star Trek, or even Star Wars did it right. Right? Because when you get plopped into Star Wars, man, it's basically most people are humanoid. Right? They have some form of human look to them. Right? So when it happens, dude, it's not jarring. It doesn't take you out of it. And even when you see the aliens, right? Some of them are just so far different and stuff like that, but it's all consistent and it's believable. And that's it for science fiction. Okay, not science fact, science fiction. So with the Halo thing, the problem I had is that they And that's part of that's the thing with the DEI stuff, dude. That's horrible. It's just like somebody in that writing room should have said, no, that kind of takes away from, you know what I mean? How would this happen? How would you have a colony of a specific type of people living there, right? Or if you're gonna do that, get me there first. I would like to see them. I would like you to get me there. Just don't throw it at me. Just expect me to just accept it, because I won't be able to. And I think that's something that one of the problems I have with Halo. Right. And like I said, Star Trek did it right because it's not about like you had different race of people in the Star Trek universe, but it was like they were just Starfleet, right? So the focus is on Starfleet. The focus is on what it basically was, right? Is that um, it's one of the guys that Bill Whittle put it perfectly. He calls it a space western, right? It's because they're going on and exploring um, the known and the unknown universe, right? That was the whole thing of the Enterprise, to explore new worlds, to boldly go where no man has gone before, right? That whole tagline. And then they stuck with that, dude. It's consistent throughout the way they did the storytelling. And it's interesting because there's a lot of stuff in the show of Star Trek that talks about that. Is my daughter had to do that for a class. She had to watch Star Trek episodes, and then she ended up watching the whole first season and liked it. Because they did the fine art of when they message in there, did messaging, they had the fine art of tact. Right? They didn't like hammer you over the head with it. They made a point of it, but the focus was on the actual show and what the show is. And so you can have the best of both worlds and experience everything, right? For some people that like the fantastical, you got that. And granted, dude, I mean, the special effects back there, of course, was very wanting, but I'm saying for what they had, it's amazing, right? And then you make up for that in the characters and the situations and the stuff that they do. Look, it's not Shakespeare. It's not meant to be Shakespeare, but man, it's the old school Star Trek. Dude. It was way ahead of its time, and it hit way above its pay grade, if I'm going to be honest, dude. And going back and watching some of those episodes, I was like, wow. It's like how I went back and started watching old Twilight Zone episodes. So B70, do you think Phil Spencer can turn things around at Microsoft? I've never seen so many fans jump from the Xbox brand before Phil was in charge. No, I mean, he doesn't have to, Zoe, honestly. He doesn't have to do anything. They're just gonna they picked the course. They've tried it. Kind of botching myself. What we say here is like I kind of brought this upon myself because I would talk about that all the time. They just need to pick a course and go for it, and they have. I don't agree with some of that, of course, but they'll be fine. They have trillions of dollars. They'll be okay. The Xbox brand is like making them money, right? And one thing Microsoft knows is they can't get out of gaming in whatever form they take it in. Now that's a whole other story. That can be a podcast of itself. How they're gonna move forward with gaming, the way they're gonna do gaming. That's a debate that can be had, but they can't do because there's money to be made there, and there's other benefits that Microsoft gets from being involved in gaming because they are a tech company. They benefit from some of the stuff that experimentation they do with the Xbox brand. Right. I'm not sure right now like what that Xbox brand is to them. In a way, I know what it is to Phil and the crew. Right. I still follow Phil. I still follow Sarah. Dude. Sarah's going to be the future of that company moving forward if she doesn't get unless a bigger opportunity comes around. Hopefully, they got her. They got to lock her down. Because she's the perfect combination of gamer and industry person, gaming industry and gamer. That's what some of these companies are lacking. A lot of these people, who, they have experience in Fortune 500, all this kind of crap, but at the end of the day, they don't play games, so they can't speak to the culture of gaming. And there's people saying that, well, that's not important anymore. Until you sit there and wondering why your AAA games that cost you $300 million are not selling. The culture matters, dude. The culture matters. I'm not saying it's the most important thing, but it's something that you got to keep in mind, right? Because at the end of the day, man, I live in Hawaii, bro. So tourism is a big thing here, right? But every business, they're all dying now. But every small business for years understood this much: you need to cater to the local community as well. Because when people start coming, right, and when the season's over, and then you're on an off season, you need to keep money coming in. Right. So you have what we call it, like you have a comma and a discount, right? 10%, 50% off. There's all kind of things they do to draw the people in. Staycation, right? They instead of paying the $700 a night, they'll drop it to $350 and throw in a bunch of stuff. Now they don't have to do that. We haven't had to do that recently because we're just getting over inundated with people on this island. Dude. We just that's why I sympathize with Japan because we get the same thing over here. And then some people here were like, "Oh well, but we're not making the money." It's because everything costs more, dude. Your profits are getting eaten up because your overhead sucks. But I mean, we're a blue state, Zobi, so I don't know what to say. I'm enjoying watching these people. Okay, I'm petty. I'm petty. I just sit here enjoying it, sit back. I was like, oh, I mean, you voted for it here, man. This is a blue state. I think we only got like 4 Republicans here, and they tend to be Republicans because they usually are Republicans because they're business owners, small business owners, right? So they're the ones that's getting ramrodded, so they try and speak for that community, but they're just gonna get overrun, dude, because it's just the way Hawaii is. This place will collapse first before they change. Thank God we're a blip on the national scale, if I'm being honest. But yeah, he doesn't have to do anything. So I mean, the only thing I say is like if you can just communicate honestly, that's the one thing I would like to get from him. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, dude, just put it on there. Trust your people. Put it out there because what you do, you're gonna lose people anyway, right? And that is kind of one of the great things I liked about it because a lot of people that say they're Xbox, they're not. There are some people that came over to the Xbox side because some of the stuff that they were experiencing on the PlayStation side. And then but they weren't really, they don't believe green, and which is fine. You don't have to do, but when somebody tells me, I was like, oh, I love Xbox and stuff like that, dude. I look at their actions before I listen to their words. It's like, okay, we'll see. Because if you're on the Xbox side, you gotta be hardcore. There's no other way. There's no other way that you're gonna make it here if you're not hardcore or just don't care about it, dude. You just play whatever you want. It's, you're not jacked in that way. I really miss the Xbox 360 era of Xbox. Oh, I really miss the Xbox/Xbox 360 era of Xbox. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I do too, dude. But good times, man. I love it too. But that's something that's out of Microsoft's control. I know a lot of us opine about that kind of stuff, dude. But it's not just Microsoft or Xbox. It's the industry in general, dude. It's the same thing I talk about where people complain about the games now, like Madden and stuff like that. And I'm not disagreeing with them. I feel for them. But at the end of the day, dude, it's not like I say this all the time. It's not the industry. It's not the companies, dude. It's the consumer, dude. It's your fellow gamers, dude, that are driving the way the industry is going, dude. Like how people are on Steam, on PC and on Steam, dude. They don't have the connection to the console like we have, or the industry like we do. I mean, that's not a dismissive against them, dude. I mean, they have benefits for being on PC and for being on Steam. You game where you want to game. You spend your money while you want to spend. That's none of my business. I'm just pointing that out. That's the reality of it. There's nothing you can do about it, dude. It's just a shift. It's the shift in the continuum, right? It's the shift in the industry, and that's why I say all the time that Microsoft has to be fluid. And I say Microsoft now because they're the money. They're the money people, dude. That's why when I say certain ways, I say Microsoft. Because that's the point. I'm doing it on purpose. I'm not, it's not that I'm confused or getting mixed up. It's on purpose. When I use Microsoft, I'm talking about the overall brand, right? When I say Xbox, it's specific. Like if I talk about Phil or Sarah, or I talk about the games, but everything else there is Microsoft because they hold the money strings. So yeah, I feel you. I'm not disagreeing with you, Zobi, but I don't know, dude. I don't think we can ever go back to those times. And Microsoft has tried, or Xbox has tried. Um, Both have tried, dude. And then I think Sarah's gonna take another shot, dude. They're gonna have a back compat team, right? So when you have success with a Fallout TV show, and people go and play the game, then you get an update, right? And then you upgrade the game, and then people are like, "Oh man, this is amazing." That's what I hear on social media all the time. Wow, I didn't realize this game was this good, or yada 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 yada, because you guys didn't play it and you listen to other people instead of finding out for yourself. And in all fairness, these guys are not gamers, so I'm not gonna harp on that too much, dude. If you're not a gamer, you're not a gamer. If you're not in the culture of gaming, which to me is you don't keep up with the news, or the people who actually develop games, the people that are in the know and stuff like that, then that's part of the culture. Right? But yeah, it is what it is, dude. But yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up, guys. I've been going for about an hour. The whole point, though, in closing, is that Microsoft and Xbox really need to take advantage of what's going on with Fallout, dude. It was an idea they had back in 2013. I thought it was a great idea. That's the reason why, again, my channel is the all-in Xbox All-In, because I was on board for the all-in-one system, right, where I could do everything that I wanted to do, which I do now. That's the funny thing about it. I actually do that now. It's part of how I consume my entertainment is done on my Xbox, dude. I buy a lot of my stuff on the store, right? If they had the music service, I actually used to use. I used to love their music service, dude, because you could connect the stuff with your PC, create your playlist. It was awesome, dude. Pull stuff off of CDs that I had. They really had a winning formula there, dude. It's just when everything came crashing down because it was getting so much hate and stuff, and some people were like, well, they took missteps. No, not really, dude. I disagree with that, dude. They did a couple things they could have done better, but out the box, dude. When you have a powerful console like they did that could do a lot of things, that it could, right? And that was the all-in-one box, and on top of that, still cover the gaming angle. I mean, they were a victim of all that hate. So, and I'll never forgive the industry for that, dude. And so that's why I'm always sitting here telling you, Microsoft, break out, dude. Go buy Netflix. Go do that, dude. I think Netflix would be one of the best things they could do if they bought that, because then they'll be untouchable in the sense that they can do a lot of cross pollination, right? And there's some stuff they could help Netflix with, especially on the service side. Give yourself more options, give yourself more weapons, be bulletproof, right? Like buying Bethesda, buying AKB, right? They have like 40 plus studios, I think Unlimited said 30, 40 plus studios, right? That are making content for them right now. It'll be a constant stream of stuff, which they need because they have a service focused product right now in Game Pass, right? For those of you guys who disagree with me, just look at Netflix, and not all their stuff is good, but they know that they got people out there that'll watch it. Because a lot of times it's not just about growing um, the service, which you need to do, but it's mostly too about half of that is also you have to maintain it. You have to maintain the subscription. So as long as you're not going backwards, and again, I know they haven't experienced the growth that they wanted to, but again, the economy, man, the economy is bad, man. It's just not good. And one day, when it turns around, hopefully this November, we'll be back on track. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. I hope so, because I'm tired of paying over $5 for gas. I think it's ridiculous. Tired of paying $7, $8 for milk. And then what it is that's where it is right now. By the end of the year, dude, it'll be more. Because stuff, if you didn't know this, man, stuff never goes down. Something's gonna have to happen for it to go down. And what that is, dude, and I'm looking at all the options of things that could happen. It's not good, dude. If I'm just gonna tell you, man, get used to canned food. Start working on your diet needs, right? If I will tell you to start fasting. Well, I tell you to start studying your Bible and getting right with God, or find God. That'll be number one. Number two, um, start learning how to fast, because you never want to be in a situation where food is hard to come by and you're having to deal with hunger pains. If you fast for like 2 or 3 days, or not even 2 or 3 days, like 2 days, 48 hours, do a 48-hour fast. Try not to eat for 48 hours. And then try and change your intake of food that you have, right? Get away from sugars and stuff like that, because stuff that'll make you crave eating. Anyway, that's just my advice. There's a lot of other stuff too that you have to do, but it is what it is. That's not what this podcast is. Sorry, I got off on a tangent, but yeah. So really happy about Fallout 4. I'm gonna try and finish it this weekend. 2 more episodes to go. What I tended to do, though, I actually went back and watched a couple of the other episodes. When I like a show, that's what I do. Like that's why sometimes I don't finish a season right now. Like I was watching Castaway Diva, and then episode 6 it was awesome. It had great one-liners, great tense moments. See, the characters were on fire, and so I actually watched that a couple times. Oh, so I would say I watched the episode again, and then I would watch the parts that I like the most. But that takes up time, which is why I fall behind in other things. But it is what it is, man. That's how I do my consumer stuff. So again, Microsoft, learn this lesson, dude. You're not the only game in town, and it's not just about video games, dude. You're competing with all type of things that occupy people's time. And I know they know this, dude, because they focus on the younger generation and what they're doing or what they're not doing. How they're not participating in their ecosystem and stuff like that. It is what it is. Anyway, guys, sorry it's been over an hour. Thank you guys for listening. Thanks for everybody that stopped by. Zobi, sorry I couldn't do a one-on-one, dude. I'm gonna go eat right now. Realist, thanks for stopping by as well. I sent you a link, dude. I don't know if I sent it. Anyway, dude, we gotta connect again because I know you want to be on the Pop Culture Podcast, and having you, and we had E-Rock on, he bought, dude. It would've, we had a great conversation. Unlimited, thank you as well for stopping by. I know you're busy. Good job on the videos. Again, congratulations on the 2,000 subscribers. Well deserved. But yeah, Xbox All In channel. Go say good forever. We out.